Hey, welcome to Minor Details. I'm Nick.
And I'm James.
And we're two industrial designers in the big city sweating the small stuff.
Ooh.
How you been, James?
I've been pretty good. I've been pretty sick.
James claims I got him sick. I was sick.
Well, I blame you for most things, Nick, but yeah, so my head's still a little bit cloudy.
I apologize, James. I really didn't think I was sick.
No, I've just got that old man's immune system, so it's not your fault. It's just
you're feeling a little better,
aging.
Though, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Not 100% yet.
Not 100%.
Okay.
I would say 75.
Okay.
75 to 80.
Well, hopefully we won't do a very strain-inducing podcast.
Maybe 85. Maybe 90. I don't know. I'll be fine.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Nick, do you have any updates?
Let's see. This past week, the Pratt thing. I think the last time we recorded, I had said that I was going to do a talk at Pratt the next day, or a VR demo. It was really good. The students there organized everything and set up the whole Oculus Rift sensors and the headset, and got to do my demo. Made a fun shoe, which I posted on my Instagram.
I really enjoyed that shoe a lot.
It was an inflatable shoe. You pulled the tag and it was like a life vest kind of. And I was also really excited because a lot of times when I do these VR demos, nothing ever goes right. But they did. Everything went good.
Oh, what happens sometimes?
I think a lot of times people don't have the right cords and they don't have the monitor set up and everything like that. But there was a professor there who had his own computer for VR and brought it and set everything up, and it went smoothly. I think there was 50 students there.
Wow!
So it was pretty big.
Packed house.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't see any of them while you're doing the demo.
That's the great thing about doing VR demos. You don't get nervous because you don't see anyone.
I suppose there's a double-edged sword because one thing is if you're speaking in front of a group, you can sort of gauge the reaction or the interest level.
Yeah, I took off my headset and no one was there. They had all left.
And you realized you were in your bedroom?
Yeah. It's all a dream. Maybe this is a quick tangent, but speaking of Oculus, they just released the new Quest headset.
Oh, right.
I just wanted to mention that because I'm really excited for it. And you guys should definitely check it out. The Oculus Quest. It's essentially think about, so that right now I have the Oculus Rift.
Right.
Put it on my head. There's a bunch of cords. It has to connect to a big old computer. There's got to be screens and controllers and wires, and it literally looks like you're in the ER and cords are just coming out of you. But the new Oculus Quest has none of that. All you have is the headset and two controllers.
That is awesome.
It's battery powered, doesn't need a computer, and it's supposed to be really good quality graphics. It's not hyper power like a PC could do, but my hope, I've been trying to get Gravity Sketch to talk or give me some info about, are they going to implement it into the Oculus Quest?
Yeah.
They sent me a smiley face. That's all I got.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean that would lead me to purchase a VR headset for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to build a PC supercomputer.
Right.
But
I'm excited for that. I just wanted to mention that.
It's very cool, and in fact, it was cool. It was even cooler because some people in the Instagram design community, I guess, worked on it.
Right.
One of them being Tim Zarkey.
Tim Zarkey did the visuals for it, the renderings.
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure, but I believe Mauricio Romano had some design input.
Yeah. I know he worked on the Go, right?
Okay, yeah, so he definitely worked on the Quest.
Yeah. I don't know how they, how big that team is.
Yeah, or the timeline of when these products were developed, but I'm sure that he and the team worked on it to some extent.
Right.
I am a big fan of Oculus hardware. I think they do an impeccable job.
Yeah.
I mean, I've let you play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And the controllers are really nice, really fit your hand well.
Yeah, that compared to the HTC Vive, I've never been vibing on the Vive.
Have you tried the Vive?
I mean, I've never tried it, but just looking at
Oh yeah, like
Just
when you see it online, it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, that thing looks crazy. Now don't get us started on the leap, the magic leap. That thing looks like an alien.
Oh, yeah, it looks like steampunk Alienware.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
But
that's a topic. That's a topic for another day.
but Nick, you also betrayed me and got an iPhone XS.
First of all, it's not a betrayal, James. Yes, okay. We're bragging. We're bringing up Apple again, but I am excited though because I purchased the XS. I have the luxury. So much excess in my life.
Do you think that naming? I mean, obviously
it's 10s, but yeah, obviously.
Well, no, but they call the iPhone 10. Do they call it the iPhone 10 in the Apple like in that company, or do they call it the iPhone X?
10, 100%. If you called it the X, they would shun you for sure.
Really?
Oh, I'm sure there's strict rules at Apple that says this is the naming convention. You do not deviate, and I'm sure you get corrected.
Right.
I mean, that's. I mean, I'm just that's my thought. I don't know for sure, but
Well, how do you feel about the phone, Nick? Is it excessive?
I actually like it. It's definitely an upgrade. I had a 6 before, so I think it's been 4 years.
It's so amazing when because I skip a generation.
You're every 2.
Yeah, every 2. And when I went from the iPhone 4 to the iPhone 6, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's
And then iPhone 6 to iPhone 8. But you went from iPhone 6 to the XS.
Yeah, it was a big jump, and I'm really pleased with it. I mean, there is the notch. I'm sorry, Jay. It's whatever.
You don't have to apologize to me.
I will say a couple things that are interesting about it. One, it's actually thicker than my last phone.
Mm,
The 10s is thicker than the 6,
really?
and it's also a little bit bigger on all sides. Like essentially, if you took just the block of the 6 and then offset the surfaces like 2 millimeters.
Yeah.
That's how big it's like it's noticeable going from the 6 to the 10, but if you just bought the 10, I don't think you would notice it.
Mm. How do you feel about that adjustment?
Well, I mean, we could go back to the original 3G or the 4. You remember when they went from the 4 to the 5 and they made the screen like a centimeter taller?
Yeah.
It was longer. And Steve was around, and Steve hated that because that meant that you couldn't touch the top corner with your thumb.
Right.
So you couldn't use it one-handed.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, it is much harder to use the 10s one-handed because you have so much more screen.
Yeah.
You can't reach the top with one hand.
No.
But they had like the special like UX tool where you like swipe down and then the whole screen moves down and you can tap it, but yeah, it's whatever.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I just saw a review. I think it was MKBHD.
Yeah.
Was reviewing a new. I feel like it was an LG phone, and it had this feature where it would minimize the screen to one corner or the other, so that you could
tap
reach.
it. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it also eliminated all of the buttons. There are no buttons on this phone. Like the volume buttons are actually just. It's almost like on the iPhone 8, the home button is not actually a button. It's just all like haptic.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting because I always use my volume buttons in my pocket listening to music. Like I just reach down, touch my pants, and then press. Like I don't reach my hand in my pocket.
And then
outside.
And then people just kind of like inch away from you on the subway. They move to the next car.
Another thing, I look beautiful in my selfie camera. I don't know why.
Oh, right.
Apparently,
that's a thing.
Apparently, the new smart HDR sensor, the whole software in the 10s has, I guess, some sort of camera manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Just to essentially create better photos. And when you take a selfie, it lightens the shadows and kind of makes everything look more flat, which in turn people translated it as some sort of beauty filter. And it's gone viral on the web.
Right. I was wrong. It's the HTC U12. That was the phone, the buttonless phone.
Is this the one where the face camera pops out of the top?
No.
Oh, that one's cool too.
That is the notchless, the truly notchless
The true
phone.
notchless, yeah.
But that kind of workaround feels so gimmicky.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, what I imagine to be the first like revolutionary notchless phone is one that the camera is behind the screen.
We'll get there.
And they black it out, or that's gonna be the day.
Johnny's working on it.
I know now he is. Now that I told him the solution.
Oh, one more comment. I am excited. I got a new phone. Like I just got to say this. I thought, I had the Touch ID on the 6, and then going from Touch ID to Face ID, I was a little hesitant because it seems a little unintuitive to like have to look at your phone to unlock it before you can just kind of pull it out and your thumb's on the home button and it just unlocks. But I will say that Face ID is actually much nicer than I thought it would be. I feel like naturally when you're trying to hold the bottom of your phone, like that home button is a little bit harder than Face ID, where you just pick up your phone and it unlocks for you. Which is, 95% of the time you're picking up your phone, the only time you have to like lean over is if it's on your desk or something and you're kind of looking at it. It has its drawbacks, but it was a pleasant upgrade, something that I had low expectations for, and I was impressed.
Nice.
So that's all I had to say. James, how was your week? Sorry.
Well, other than being sick, the helicopter animation dropped. Number 2.
You dropped some fire.
Yeah, Derek and I, that has been a long time coming.
Okay.
Because we've actually been working on it, kind of since the last one.
So for those who hadn't seen it, what are you guys doing? You follow James? Come on, really? James released one of his toy helicopters that he 3D modeled, and he collabed with
Derek Elliott. Yeah, Derek Elliott is a industrial designer turned 3D guru. He works predominantly in Blender, but he uses it for rendering and animation mostly, and just next level skills. Next level skills.
Yeah, it was impressive.
And so, I reached out to him initially with the first helicopter animation idea. I just wanted to see one of my helicopters fly.
Right.
That was the only thing.
Yeah.
So we did this one, and it was well received, and we just, we enjoyed working together on that. So we started thinking about the next one. We scrapped like 2 animations in the process of coming up with this animation.
Okay. And the animation right now, like describe it a little bit. It's like a stadium?
Yeah. So the way that we framed it, like that we, decided to frame this whole animation series was like, what if this was a video game? And how would you advance through the video game in terms of training? Okay. So the first animation was just hovering. It's just like flight. Right. But the second animation is about like flying and dodging. So essentially, it's in this stadium, and the helicopter has to fly through this hoop. Right. Like that is kind of coming at it.
Like in Quidditch, kind of?
Yeah, it is. It is kind of Quidditchy. Except for, like the hoop isn't just in one spot. It's moving around. Right. It's a more snitch-like hoop. Nice. It has a mind of its own almost. But yeah, so there were a lot of conversations had, a lot of iteration. Derek obviously did the bulk of the work, because he was essentially building the world and doing the animation. One of the things that I love about the animation is how much character the helicopter has.
It's so good.
It's
because there's like a part in there where the helicopter misses one of the hoops and it spins out, and you hear the ticker be like the buzzer's like
Yeah, really great sound effects in there.
I gotta admire Derek because he nails sound effects, and you know how I am with sound. Yeah, I love sound. I think it's such an underrated aspect, and I hate when people do Insta stories with no sound. Just all right, keep going.
Really grinds your gears. Yeah. But yeah, so it was really, really exciting to finally release this one.
Can we ask if there's a new one in the works?
I can tell you that we haven't discussed. Well, we kind of have some ideas of where we'd like to take it from here, because, when you're doing something like this, you kind of, you like I was saying, we put it through this video game lens. So it's like, okay, what makes sense is the next test,
Right.
Maybe
like payload, like picking up a payload and dropping it off.
One of the animations that we tried was like landings, and it's just like not very interesting. It's not just like not very like a very compelling animation.
Right.
So yeah, I think I'm not going to say what it is. I'll shroud it in mystery once again. Okay. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, Derek, we would talk on the phone. We talked on the phone often for like an hour, 2 hours, talking about life, love, and animation. And it would often be
you guys are internet friends only?
Internet friends only.
You've never met?
Never met.
Okay. Well, Derek Elliott went to Appalachian State, I believe.
Yes.
Correct? And so we have some mutual friends that like know Derek and stuff like that. But
and we were really internet friends before all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the power of Instagram.
The power of internet.
But yeah, check it out. Definitely follow Derek on Instagram. He's got amazing skills, and he's also got really great tutorials on YouTube, how to use Blender.
Mm-hmm. He's just at Derek_Elliott or what?
I think it's Derek J Elliott. Let me Derek J Elliott.
Got it.
But you can find him through my Instagram through the helicopter animation.
Right.
And then following up to that, Nick, since you stole my job, I decided to steal your job. And now I'm designing chairs.
James, you're doing the chair sketches now. I told you they're addictive, man.
Yeah. Well, I basically... So I'm doing this chair series, and what I'm kind of focusing on is like these mobile chairs and kind of mobile outdoor chairs. These are ideas that I've literally had in my head for years and haven't put them down. And they all kind of stem from my thesis at Virginia Tech, where I did a mobile standing desk for like elementary school students.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that a little bit.
Yeah. So like just this idea of like mobility, like, and how you can exaggerate different elements.
Right. Like the one I'm thinking of right now, which I think was your original idea or something, was, it was like a giant wheel, and the wheel was shaped almost like a yo-yo. Like it didn't have like the cut through the center, but it had the concave edge to it.
Yeah.
And then you had the steel bar coming from the center of the wheel, and had the seat coming from the steel bar, so that you could sit on the seat and then rest your back against the wheel.
Yeah.
But you could also flip the wheel on its side and then sit on the side of the wheel.
Yeah.
It was really good. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that one...
now you have one like with an exercise ball, right?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, the wheel one, it's so funny. It's so funny how these concepts can cause such a firestorm.
That's why I do them. That's the true reason I love doing this chair.
It is pretty fun.
Because it's just like everyone takes it way too seriously, and I just get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I'm not like posting these thinking I'm in the middle of an investors meeting.
Right, you're posting these, and the tooling started.
I plan on using all the plastic in the world, all the available plastic to make these chairs.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, I mean the original chair that I did was just kind of this like, what if you took the arc of a chair back and essentially just revolved it,
right?
And then it becomes a giant wheel, and then you lean the seat up against it, but then you use the seat to drag the wheel around.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, that's going to be heavy. And it's like,
it's a wheel.
Do you know anything about wheel physics?
This is the first invention, people.
You need to go back to school.
You need to go back to caveman.
Yeah. But yeah, the second one, it's like a yoga ball. There's like, I would imagine that there's a through in the middle of it, and then it's attached to the seat back so that you can. It's really hard to. I'm going to describe it this way. It's a ball and then there's a potato chip resting on it.
That's perfect. That describes it perfectly.
But anyway, it's a fun series. Somebody was like, I love these. It's like the helicopter series. And it is like, it's just like a fun way of exploring something. Because I've been taking them from sketch to 3D, which is always a nice little challenge to see how quickly you can move through the process.
For sure.
But anyway.
Well, that's great, James.
Well, that's just great, James.
Are you gonna stealing my sketches, man?
Yeah, great artists steal.
That's true. That's true.
And I'm great.
Yep. Speaking of Instagram, we have some design news.
Yes.
And really the whole episode. But design news this week is that, I mean, it's not really design news. It's more just news in general, tech news. The Instagram founders left Instagram. I didn't read too much into the story, and I don't know how much you know, James, but it, essentially, for those who don't know, Facebook owns Instagram. Sorry to burst your bubble. Because I know that you posted on Facebook, I'm leaving Facebook and moving to Instagram,
Right.
Facebook owns Instagram, and for a while there, Instagram was pretty autonomous. They had their own founders. They had pretty much full control over the app and what they did. And, as Facebook has hit some rocks in the road the past year, I think they've started to have more interest in Instagram as part of one of their assets.
Yeah.
So, Mark's kind of been meddling, and we don't know the full story, but essentially the founders were like, you know what, it's time for us to leave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anymore, I think Instagram is really the cash cow. Because I mean, this is not based on any research or numbers, but I'm starting to feel like people are moving away from Facebook because Facebook is just is simply a place for flame wars and conspiracies.
Yeah.
And
internet videos of cooking.
Yes,
yeah.
That too. But Instagram, I mean, I do sometimes long for the old days of Instagram where it was just, it was about the instant, moment, capturing that moment and posting it. And it was just super simple.
Right. Just one photo and it was square.
Yeah. I mean, now they're adding all these features. I don't know how you feel about all these features that they've added. You
got IGTV. I mean, the story thing.
IGTV.
The stories really changed, Instagram as a platform.
Right.
I think that was an amazing move.
That was good.
IGTV has been a little slow to take off, and I don't really know if it will ever.
It doesn't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to make a really compelling reason because it's, with YouTube, you can take it across different devices.
Right.
I watch YouTube at home on my Apple TV. That'll be what my wife and I will watch sometimes in the evening. It's like a podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we all do.
But IGTV, it's all you only have it on your phone. Are you really going to sit glued to your phone for an hour?
Yeah. The one thing I've never understood is that Instagram also doesn't have an iPad app.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. It's just a weird enlarged version of the phone app.
Yeah, so when there's not an iPad app, you can download the iPhone app, but the iPad just blows up.
Yeah.
2x.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But yeah, I mean it's just interesting news. I mean, obviously the world goes around, things change. Everyone sells their Facebook stock right when that. And it's whatever. But I mean, I am definitely feel like I'm being more invested in Facebook as a platform, as a stock or as a company, just because of the new Oculus Quest.
Right.
For those who don't know, Facebook owns Oculus as well.
Yeah.
I think Oculus and Instagram are really the platforms I use the most and have incredible potential to keep growing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still a strong investor in Facebook, but not necessarily the Facebook website.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just fear.
Is that illegal to talk about investing?
What is that, insider trading? I don't think so. You're not an insider.
Okay, that's good.
I don't think it's illegal to share who you're invested in.
Don't take any investor advice from me. I think there's some sort of legal thing right there. I don't know.
I have no idea. We can cut it out if you're really worried.
James, if I go to jail, you can have all my things.
But the thing that I fear about a lack of that kind of leadership at Instagram is that the platform, they're going to continue to try to innovate on the platform of Instagram. Like
yes.
when you hire people to work on the Instagram app,
they're always trying new things.
They're always trying new things.
That's the whole point of it.
And I fear, have you gone onto Facebook recently and seen all of like the tabs that you can hit on the side?
I don't even want to.
It's like, I just wonder if there is a good case to make an app that you just don't touch. Like once people like it and people enjoy it, you just like don't touch. You don't try to innovate. You just leave it alone.
I don't think there is.
You have employees that are there to like make sure that it's running well, but other than that, just leave it be.
Yes, I know the exact one.
Which one?
Craigslist.
Craigslist does look like they abandoned any semblance of innovation.
And Google search.
Although
Google is always changing stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like Craigslist is definitely a better example.
Craigslist is like, oh man, it looks exactly the same like 10 years later. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Nick, we wouldn't be...
No one's buying stock in Craigslist. Let's say that.
Nick, we wouldn't be right here, talking with each other if it weren't for the Instagram app.
That's true. And Instagram's a miracle of sorts.
And you wouldn't be the prince of Instagram, of industrial design Instagram.
Oh, let's not start that.
Let's not start without the... well, that's, your boyish charm, the prince of Instagram.
I am a beautiful little boy, according to my iPhone 10s selfie cam.
But yeah, I think we need to talk about ID Instagram.
Yeah, we want to dive deep into the design community on Instagram. Is it something that's good? Is it something that's bad? What are the good parts? What are the bad parts? What do we do specifically with our Instagram that maybe other people don't know or don't realize? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. When did you start Instagram, James?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I started it a long time ago, but I didn't start posting like design Instagram.
When did you start design Instagram? Because I think this is the same story as like people downloaded Instagram and kind of like posted a picture of their dog and then didn't post for a year.
Yeah.
And then everyone else started like, oh, Instagram's a thing now. Like maybe I'll post my summer vacation. Right.
Well, I had a personal Instagram, and then one day, I think I've kind of told this story before, but I started I Draw on Receipts, and in the beginning, it was me drawing on receipts.
And now you never draw on
receipts. Because people call me out all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Can I get into the ethos behind I Draw on Receipts?
Yes.
So I have, or had this tendency, and maybe still a little bit, of falling in love with certain ideas, like when in my design work.
Like the loop?
Oh yeah, like the loop. But I kind of wanted to break myself out of this. I Draw on Receipts. The whole idea behind it was like receipts are something that you inevitably throw away. Or you just like let go of them.
Yes.
And for some reason, I just like collected receipts in my wallet to the point like, then I would
for your taxes.
For my taxes. So I heard this story about these like Buddhist monks who make these intense color sand art, I guess.
Okay.
Like they make these amazing pieces of art with sand.
Do they put it on the floor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And then they just leave it to like blow away in the wind.
Mm-hmm. Well, do they take a photo first?
then they post it on Instagram. No, I don't know. I think they just they make them and then they just leave them. And there's like a deep philosophy to that. But the idea of like I'm going to draw on these receipts. In the beginning, I was drawing on things and then just leaving them wherever I was.
Right. And a few people have those, and they're worth thousands of dollars.
I don't know if anybody has any of those. But that was the whole idea behind it, was like, I need to learn how to, like, you know, put effort into something, but then easily abandon it.
Yeah. That's a good design skill.
It's I would say it's an essential design skill.
100%. I mean, that's all we do in design is come up with amazing ideas and then realize that, oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah. Or just have everybody on Instagram tell you that it's not going to work. Yeah, so I started posting, I guess this was, I'm going to say, 2013, 14.
Yeah.
But then I really transitioned into like ID, Instagram, maybe 2014, 15.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Because I saw what Reed was doing, to be honest.
You know, I can't remember when he started, but
I don't know.
We'll have to go listen back to the episode.
Because, like, I think, you know, Reed tapped into something that was, like, so in its infancy that, like, he was, like, riding this tsunami wave.
Right.
You know?
That's another, like, idea or thing that I realize is that, you know, Reed specifically was one of the first people to,
right.
And I think that was part of the success of, like, just reaching a ton of people that are interested in this art form of sketching and illustration.
Yeah.
And architecture, and I think he just spans a lot of demographics.
Yeah,
and he was like the first one, so I think that attributes to a lot of his success. But
yeah, because he started with the brown paper sketching, and like, you know, it was so appealing to a mass audience because it wasn't just like the ID sketching that we were used to necessarily. It was somewhere in between illustration and art and design.
Right.
And so it had mass appeal. The other thing that was really brilliant, because, I mean, Reed is a calculated man. And
for sure,
like, what he did was brilliant, where back in the day where Instagram was literally like, it was a timeline and wasn't this algorithm that's pushing people's content up. The brown paper sketching, it's like he was the only person doing it. And so as you're like going through your feed, it's like, oh, a Reed Schlegel sketch.
Yeah.
You know, it's brilliant.
It was consistent.
You know, he had times a day that he would post. You know, now we have like, I have a business Instagram, so like it tells me like when people are on.
Right.
Like,
I've switched to business profile too.
But Reed was really figuring all this stuff out on his own, like as the Instagram community was growing, and then he spawned all these copycats, you know,
with the tone paper sketching. Well, he credits the tone paper to Jeff Smith, right?
Yes.
Where did he get it from? And where did they get it? It's, you know, obviously the trail goes far. I mean, we're just building off of each other, other designers' past work and stuff.
Well, when I started posting, I remember the followers like were coming in like crazy, and for a while I was like riding a wave, and I was doing a sketch a day, and I just got totally burnt out.
Oh, really?
And
I mean, it's definitely hard to do.
Yeah,
a sketch a day.
I think it was actually around the same time that I met my wife. So, you know,
that's even more difficult. Yeah.
But yeah, you reprioritize in that moment. But yeah, I mean, so I kind of left for a while, and I feel like during that time, it's like when, like, I started noticing you on Instagram and some other people that were doing, like, approaching Instagram in a very different way.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I remember doing the same thing, like having an Instagram and, you know, posting like once or twice a month on it for a while. And then I guess the end of 2016 or 2015, I can't remember, but I was like, I'm going to try to up my game a little bit and post like twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And so I started posting a little bit more frequently. And then I believe it was 2017. Yeah, 2017, January 1st, I was like posting every day. I just was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how many times I've told the story. I know I've told it a lot, but I started out like posting every day as a way to keep myself motivated to create something every day. And it didn't necessarily have to be a sketch. It didn't necessarily have to be design related. It just had to be something that I was like proud of that I did.
Right.
Like it could have been me camping or just me like going out into like a park and like, I don't know, exploring a little bit. And, for the first couple of months that kind of was mixed in. And I started doing a lot more sketching. I realized that, I can do the sketching stuff really anytime. And it was kind of like a good content builder and also a great skill to have.
Yeah.
And of course, with the sketching, I started experimenting with like woodworking and like playing around with 3D modeling and Rhino, Grasshopper, and all that stuff. And for me, the Instagram was like a way to experiment.
Right.
Like a way, and it still is, a way for me to try new ideas and see what the feedback is.
Right.
And, I think part of that was I've always attributed like the success on Instagram to like having great content, being consistent, and then I think there's this third area, which is great content, being consistent, and almost always evolving in a way.
Right.
Because like you said, like there's a plateau. Like you were gaining followers for a while, and you're like, this is amazing. But then all of a sudden you hit like, I don't know, whatever number it is, 10,000, and you're just like sitting there like, I can't get any more followers. I'm doing the same great content. I'm being consistent. But I think the design community is such a small community that in order to really boost that following, and maybe this is going too far, but you have to reach out beyond that. You have to do my chair sketch illustrations or sketches. I mean, they're more illustrations than they are sketches in my opinion, because I take a lot of time with them. They're 1.5 to 2 hours long, and they're more conceptual, so they're more like an art form. And so it reaches a little bit broader audience that way. Same with like the architecture.
And your chair sketches are almost like, some of them can be very comical,
right?
Like almost like a cartoon, almost like a one-panel cartoon,
right?
And yeah, I mean, I think that they're totally understandable outside of the community. But something.
Yeah. Well,
something.
I do want to say one thing, because I talked a little about followers. I will say, like, I know there's a lot of people out there listening right now thinking, I want to get, X amount of followers. And I just really want to stress the fact that you shouldn't be striving for followers. You really should be striving for improving your skill set and building your own design self.
Right.
But yes, continue, James.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you looked at my Instagram, everything that I've done is like antithetical to trying to get more followers.
Yeah, you do what you want to do, and that's great, and I love that.
I mean, when I plateaued, it was out of lack of like my interest to keep pushing it. And then I came back, like when I saw people like you, and the stuff that you were doing, it kind of revitalized me to like look at Instagram in a different way. And I was thinking about this today because, I know that we have a lot of students that sort of follow us, and, they follow our Instagrams, they listen to the podcast. I will say that when I think about Instagram and I think about like what I enjoy about it, I think it's almost tapping into that student spirit. Like
it is, because it feels like a hustle,
right?
In a way, it feels like a makeshift, like ad hoc, we're in here together doing things that no one really cares about, but it's important stuff.
Yeah, it's it's a place to experiment with little consequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, you know, there's maybe some consequence of like getting trolled for like bad ideas.
Oh, I love trolls.
Or, you know, if you are looking at that like count and you're not getting those likes and it's taking a toll on you personally. But, you know, I had a conversation with like a professor at Square One, and I won't mention names.
Okay.
But they were saying that they were seeing sort of some of the like more destructive elements of Instagram.
Yeah, I mean,
especially on students. Because I think school itself is tough.
it's already very hard. Yeah.
It's very hard.
I remember like going from school to my first job and I was like, whoa, let me just relax a little bit. This is nice. 5 p.m. I'm done.
Like school itself is already a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And then when you're expanding it to the larger Instagram community and you're trying to reach out to that community for affirmation or, you know,
right.
some sort of recognition like that, I can't imagine, because we didn't have Instagram when I was in college.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine the amount of just, I mean, that's got to weigh on somebody.
I mean, this is like a social media thing in general. I think this is
right.
This is like, I mean, this is a whole nother conversation, which, you know, maybe we'll tease, but, you know, the whole like, there's a whole mental health thing going on, and its correlation with social media is pretty strong. And, you know, I know that we want to maybe dive into that at some point in the future, but
right.
It's an interesting thing, and I don't know how to solve it. I don't know who can solve it. Yeah, we didn't have Instagram in college either. Well, we did have Instagram, but no one used it. It wasn't popular. I am actually, not to bring it back to my iPhone XS, but I am excited for iOS 12. I don't know if you've upgraded or not. Have you upgraded to iOS 12?
I don't think I have yet.
Well, iOS 12 has a new screen time analytics in your settings.
Oh, right.
So you can check how long you're spending on your phone each day, and specifically how long you spend on social media, and you can set limits. So I've set my limit to 2 hours. I don't know if that's bad or good, but
right.
that's like if I can only be on Instagram for 2 hours a day, I'm proud of myself.
Well, that will be interesting. I mean, have you seen the analytics of how long on average you spend?
Oh, I have seen at a certain point, because iOS 11 had like pseudo analytics. You could go into your battery settings and then click like how much you use for your battery life, and it would tell you like, oh, you used, 3 hours of Instagram for today.
Right.
I remember one time going in there, and you can also do 7 days. You can also do a week. And I clicked on my time for how long I used Instagram. I had used it 24 hours in the past 7 days.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? A whole freaking day.
Yeah.
I had 6 days in my week.
Oh my gosh.
Not 7.
Oh
so
my gosh.
when I saw that, I really changed, and I really tried to slim my content consumption down.
Right.
And it's an addiction for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing again. Like,
well, they compare it to like a slot machine.
Yeah.
Because it is like you get on there and you're looking at that bottom right corner to see that bubble.
Yeah, you want that red that red heart.
Yeah, and something that I've been doing recently is like I'll post something and then I won't look at my phone for an hour. Like that's like because sometimes I'll get so anxious like after posting something that I'm like are people receiving this well? And it's like that is totally against like why I even use Instagram.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, too. I do the same thing.
Right.
I'll look and see if a post does well. I've never deleted a post besides any technical issues. But, like, if a post doesn't do well, like, whatever, I just move on.
Yeah.
It's just Instagram. I think you really have to just... This is how I deal with it. You really have to just take yourself out of context and you realize like this is just a freaking app on our phone, people.
Right.
Like just do what you love and don't worry about the other things that, you know, how many likes you get or how many followers you have. I know you have more to say about the whole do what you love statement, but
oh, well, no, I think that do what you love, like,
do what you love and what you're good at. Maybe is that the amendment?
No, I think it's more like pursue things that are worth pursuing. Like, or, you know, because do what you love implies that if you don't love what you're doing all the time, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I definitely don't love design all the time.
I love it all the time.
But I mean, the reasons that I don't necessarily love it all the time is because I feel like I'm not as good as I could be.
Yeah, I think maybe...
Or there's a part of the process that I don't love as much as other parts of the process, and it's like difficult to push myself through those parts.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Like, there are points in the design process where I'm like, oh, this is a grind. I don't really enjoy this. You know, I'm building a spec pack or like doing some sort of, you know, document that is not design related at all, like quoting or like, you know, sending invoices, like that stuff I hate.
Right.
But holistically,
right,
I love design, and maybe that's the right, I don't know, like.
Yeah. I just I think it's interesting. I mean, we have a question here that I think will feed in well to like how I want to sum up this section.
Yeah.
As like a message to students. And this is from, and I'm really sorry because I'm probably going to mispronounce this name, but Nahar Party. They say, I'm in my final year doing industrial design and I'm having trouble deciding on my thesis project. I don't really know what aspects to consider when picking it. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could give me some advice on this, maybe even what you did for your thesis. And I kind of talked about my thesis a little bit. But I went through a big crisis my senior year, like a mental crisis of like, oh my God, am I even ready for professional design? Like I'm not ready. Like I don't know anything.
It's part of your senior year. Like everyone has it. If you're going through it right now, don't worry because we all went through it.
And I just remember I stayed in touch with my foundations year professor. His name is Jim Bassett, and he was this incredible professor and like very wise, and just like sort of calmed me down at many moments throughout my student career. But I'll never forget what he said to me, which was, you know, when I was going into my thesis project, he said, "You're in school, be in school."
Yeah.
And you know, so what I ended up doing for my thesis project was I was like, this is my last, what I thought was my last moment to experiment without consequence. And so I was like, what am I really interested in? And, you know, because your thesis project it's about you. Yeah. It's about what you're intrigued by. It's like, I don't think it's a good move necessarily to pick a thesis project because you think it's something that other people will like.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's exactly what I did too. I remember I never posted my thesis online or anything. And maybe I've mentioned it before, but it was a set of furniture because I love furniture.
Yeah. And
it was a pillow fort furniture. So it had like couch cushions that have puzzle pieces. So you could build this, you know, fortress. The kids could build a fortress out of the couch cushions. And but it also looked like a nice set of furniture because it was meant for the whole family. Like the parents could have a dinner party and no one would know. And they'd be like, "Oh, this is an interesting couch, but I still like it," you know.
Right. Yeah, I don't think practicality has to come into it. I think like the purpose of a thesis is like an investigation.
Yeah.
And so what are you interested in investigating that you've never had the opportunity to up until that point? You set the parameters. And it's like, for my thesis, I was like, I'm really interested in education. like in like a lot of the reason because of going to design school, I became really interested in education, just because design education is such a unique experience. And I was like, I'm also interested in furniture, and I'm interested in form. Like I wanted to build my form skills. And so I did an independent study around form, which is like where I learned more about the form families. But it was just taking these things that I was intrigued by and just follow, smush them together and follow that trail.
Like mixing different colors of Play-Doh to make it brown.
Yeah.
Well, wait, did you say what you're doing? You did a desk.
Yeah, I did a standing desk. But and this was back kind of before, or just as the standing desk hype was on the rise.
It was peaking.
No, this was
trending.
Trending. It was. I think now it's trending more than ever.
It was early adopter phase.
Yeah,
there we go.
But because you go to a kid's class and the kids are just like running around and everything, and everything in society was becoming so much more mobile as well, and it was like, well, all these desks are so like static, they can't really move around very well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a standing desk, and the idea was if you raised up the desk, there was a ball in the bottom that would engage, and you could roll it around.
You could roll it around.
And then you could disengage the top from the bottom, and you could sit on the ball and work at the desk if you wanted to sit. But it was purely like, this general area sounds really interesting to me, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Your thesis project is you. Like, Nahar, do you. You're allowed to be selfish for one project.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything else. Just like, what do you like? I mean, this is your free reign.
Yeah,
there's no professor saying, "Oh, make a life jacket for the ocean," or make like a water carrying device for the third world.
Yeah.
There's no don't worry about that.
Yeah. So, but I think that's in general advice for the Instagram community.
That's true. Yeah.
What do you love? Like, what are you interested in with design? And I think like this is from that movie La La Land. Do you remember that one with Ryan Gosling and
a movie?
Emma Stone? Yeah. I forgot. I'm talking to Nick Baker. He's thinking about opening this jazz club, and he's like, I don't know if it's a good idea. And she's like, you're passionate, which will make other people passionate about it.
Yeah.
Like you made me interested in jazz. So it's like, I think like for people in the Instagram community, for students, what are you interested in? And show the progress of that. Like, what do you want to achieve? What are you interested in?
I love it.
Don't do it for everybody else. Do it for yourself.
I like it. Okay. I don't know if we have time for questions. Oh well, we answered we answered Nahar's question, but let's to wrap up the Instagram thing. Give me 3 or maybe you don't have to give me 3, but like bullet points advice for Instagram and design. I mean, you said do what you love. Is that one?
Well,
and it could be minor details. Here, I'll give you mine. How about that?
Okay, go for it.
All right. So, yeah, do what you love. That's one of James's bullet points, and I totally support that. Another one, like these are like minor things, like nitpicky things that like annoy me.
Don't say do what you love because I hate that statement.
All right.
Do what you're interested in.
Do what you're interested in.
Yeah.
A few things that I see on Instagram that I really think can make or break a post is making a sketch page white. Like if it's a piece of paper, make it white, and then turn that contrast all the way up, so I'm blasted. Like I think we talked about this on one of the podcasts. Like I'm blasted by that contrast. You got that dark.
We want a sunburn.
Dark pen sketch, white paper. Let's see, sound. Sound's really important. If you do a video, put sound in there.
I love your bullet points.
Well,
they're so in the weeds.
That's because this is the whole podcast, James. This is why we named it minor details.
Fair enough.
I had one more. Oh, here's an interesting one. People read captions. You should put an interesting caption in there. Don't be like sketches of bicycles, Did I say bicycles?
Bicycles.
James didn't have any wine. James
We
drank,
switched roles this time.
James drank all the wine last episode. I drank the wine this episode, so
Yeah.
if I sound a little smooth.
Yeah, that's something that I noticed about Sketchfresh, especially. He was very, like, his captions were, like, pretty lengthy. There was, like, words of encouragement in there. He also put, like, the track that he listened to while he was sketching. He would talk about the idea. He was really on that caption game before anybody else that I saw.
Yeah. So that's what I did 3, right? Well, one more. I think experimenting and like doing different parts of design, like doing the whole process, I think is really important and key to show off that, oh hey, I'm not just doing a sketch a day. I'm designing too. Like I can take my idea from sketch all the way to like a final maybe mock-up, cardboard model, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll get off my soapbox now. Did you have any more bullet points, James?
Well, I don't think a sketch a day is necessarily a bad idea if what you're interested in is improving your sketching skills. Like,
fair point.
It's like, I mean, that is impressive if you can do a sketch a day for a year.
It's like, definitely difficult.
You know, I sometimes feel like I need to do it. I need to prove to myself that I can actually do it.
I mean, I've technically never done a sketch a day. I've done a post a day.
Yeah. But yeah, I think pretty much like the whole idea of investigate something you're interested in is that's kind of my takeaway for the industrial design Instagram community.
Yeah. All right. I think that was some good info. Maybe we'll revisit it in like 6 months and tell everyone that we failed at giving you advice or whatever. I don't know. I don't think we have time for any more questions, but I appreciate Nahar Party for sending in that one question about your thesis, and hopefully that helped many people. Of course, every week we like to give a shout out of the week, and this week I wanted to shout out Day_Toner, Toner. And they are a concept artist that sketches robots. I don't know. It's just like good, juicy robots. Don't you love robots?
I do love robots. I wish I could draw mech.
James, do you love me as a robot?
Okay. Now it's getting weird.
Oh boy. Sorry about that. Okay.
I'm going to have to shut off the affection mode on Nick Baker. But yeah, it's always cool to see, like, I'm always really impressed with concept artists and how much they can communicate with, like you zoom in on concept art and you're like, they are being very economical with what they're actually putting down, because it's not always like hyper detailed.
But when you zoom out, it looks detailed for whatever reason.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, they do great jobs.
So yeah, definitely check out Daytoner.
And then one extra little side note is that they worked on the Oculus Rift game, Robo Recall.
Oh.
I don't know if you're... Did you play that one? Did you play the robot shooting game?
I haven't played any.
Just Gravity Sketch.
You didn't let me play any games.
All right,
Nick.
James, I'll let you play games later. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Of course, our intro and outro music is by the awesome KYOSHY the Kid.
Oh, yeah.
Subscribe on YouTube, rate, like, podcast, everything. Apple Podcasts, Google Play. But yeah, YouTube mainly, because James has been doing an amazing job doing the editing.
Oh, Nick.
And posting up those videos, and I look beautiful. James,
I do put that beauty boy filter on there.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And I'm at Nick P. Baker.
And I'm at I Draw on Receipts.
Peace out.
Later.